everyone! So in today's video, I am going to show you guys all the philodendron that I have in my collection. So I'm not going to waste your time and we're going to get right into it. So the first plant I'm going to share with you guys today is a Philodendron Brazil. So this is like one of the classic common heart-shaped leaf philodendrons that you kind of see everywhere with the green leaves and yellow variegation or striping in the middle. Some of the leaves of these have kind of reverted to a full green leaf, but I have some really nicely variegated ones near the top here. So anyways, this is the Philodendron Brazil. The next plant is also a pretty common plant, and that would be the Philodendron lemon lime. Now the color on this one is very similar to like a neon pothos, except that the leaves are heart-shaped, and this is actually a philodendron. So I got the Brazil and the neon at the same time, and they were all cuttings when I first got them actually. So they've grown into these nice full pots. Very pretty plants. I think everyone should have some heart-shaped leaf philodendrons in their collection. Okay, next plant I'm going to talk to you is very similar to the first two, and that would be the regular green heart-shaped leaf philodendron. So these three plants that I just showed you, like the Brazil, the lemon lime, and the regular green version, are all called Philodendron Heterasium. So they all look very similar. And then the next plant, this one's I think a fan favorite, very popular in the house plant buying market, and that would be a Philodendron micans. So this is also a heart-shaped leaf Philodendron Heterasium, but it has velvet textured leaves and it has kind of like a red hue color to it. So mine is pretty nice and trailing. And I also got this one as a cutting, and it grew into this beautiful plant in under 2 years. Yeah, I definitely love this plant, and I think a lot of people do too because of the velvet texture of the leaves. So the next plant I have to show you guys would be, you might think is a Philodendron Brazil, but this is actually, or it was sold to me as a Philodendron Rio. So it's very similar to Philodendron Brazil, except that the variegation is more cream in color as opposed to yellow. So here, let me show you one of the leaves that really shows that the layers of color. So you have green on the outside, and then it turns into a cream white in the middle. And the Rio leaves are also a little bit more elongated than the Philodendron Brazil. So yeah, this is my Philodendron Rio. It's a smaller plant that I have in my collection. So the next philodendron I'm going to show you guys is actually the first philodendron I purchased, and that would be Philodendron Pink Princess. I mean, it's hard to tell it's actually a pink princess because of the lack of pink on the leaves, but I do have a few nice pink splashes here and there on some of the leaves. But yeah, I guess this is kind of a very popular plant on the market these days because of the pink variegation. I've had it for 2 years now, and it's occasionally giving me pink leaves. But yeah, it's fine. You can see how tall it is. I've cut this a few times for trades and whatnot, and it does propagate very well. So I guess this is the Philodendron Pink Princess. Zoom in on the nice pink leaf. Okay, next one. So the next two plants that I'm going to show you guys are two smaller plants that I have currently growing in my IKEA Millsville greenhouse. First one is another heart-shaped leaf philodendron, and that would be the Philodendron Brandy or Brantianum. So it has a very similar heart leaf shape than the Philodendron Brazil and micans and whatnot, except this one has some really cool patterning on it, kind of like silver in color. And the leaves actually come out a very interesting bronzy color when they're juvenile, and then turn into this more green silver leaf color. So anyways, this is my Philodendron Brandy. And the next plant is also a very small one, and this is my Philodendron Melanocrysta. It was a wet stick propagation, that's why the leaves are very small and juvenile. It's not particularly a fast grower. I've had this one since the fall, and it's only get put out a couple leaves, but hopefully this spring, summer it'll explode in growth. But yeah, these ones grow to have very long velvety leaves. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like everyone when they think of the Philodendron Melanocrysta, they think of that really long velvety leaf. So anyways, this is my Philodendron Melanocrysta. So I forgot that this next plant was also in my IKEA Nailsbo greenhouse cabinet. So here it is. This is the Philodendron White Princess. I got this as a cutting in the fall from a friend, and it was a tiny little plant, and it's grown several beautiful newly variegated leaves. But yeah, this is one of my favorite philodendrons in my collection for sure. Like so. So the next plant is my biggest philodendron and probably my favorite, and that would be my Philodendron Silver Sword. I have a baby one as well in here. This is like a tiny wet stick. But then this massive one I found on Facebook Marketplace a couple months ago, and it was a really good price, so I snatched it up immediately. But I really love this one because I have a thing for that silvery blue leaf color. So if you can see, anyways, it's huge. I bought it huge, so I don't take credit for growing this plant to the size it is right now, but it is one of my favorites for sure. So the next two plants I'm going to show you look very similar, but they're not actually the same plant. So the first one is my Philodendron pedatum, or Philodendron Florida green. It has several names. This one has the Florida leaf shape, but it's green, it's fully green. These leaves don't come out a different color and change to green. These ones are the ones that grow out green and stay green. And the petioles are actually not bumpy like the Florida Ghost, which I'm going to show you after this, and are green. So yeah, this is a Philodendron pedatum. And then similar to this plant I have is the Philodendron Florida Ghost. So it's very similar. The leaves are the same shape as the pedatum, but these ones, if you give them enough light, the leaves will come out a lighter color, sometimes even white, and then fade to a green that's similar to the Philodendron pedatum. What's also different about this one is the petioles. So the petioles actually have, there's bumps on them, as well as they are actually red in color. So let me just put these two side by side, because they really do look the same, but they are not the same plant. Philodendron pedatum and Philodendron Florida Ghost. And the last philodendron in my collection, which is actually the newest philodendron in my collection, would be the Florida Bronze. So I believe this is a cross between a Philodendron pedatum and a black cardinal, I believe. So you can see it has a very similar shape, sort of, to the pedatum in a way that it has some lobes, but it's actually darker in color, which is where it gets its black cardinal qualities. So this is a cutting that hasn't grown any new leaves in my care yet, but there is a growth point sticking out at the bottom of the stem, so hopefully we'll get a new leaf on this one soon. But yeah, this one's really pretty. I like the dark foliage on this one. So yeah, that's basically my philodendron collection. I have a good mix of common and uncommon varieties of philodendron, and I kind of like that. And I have a lot of them. I didn't know I had that many of them. I actually had to make a list of all the philodendrons, that way I didn't miss any of them. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed discovering my philodendron collection, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!